Oh boy, 1 week from today, we'll be out at the Rice County Fair. And John Dvorak is in studio, the Rice County Fair manager. John, you look very relaxed. Either things are well under control or you're good at hiding things.
Maybe it's a little of both.
It isn't like we haven't done this rodeo before.
No, that's right. Good morning, Jerry. Glad to be here again this morning.
And all right, I have to admit, they say confession is good for the soul. When you started talking about the barn, you know, the 1900s era barn that was going to be built by the time the fair started, I was a doubting Jerry, but, you know, I have to admit, John did pull it off.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just John that pulled it off. I mean, the Historical Society, they did a great job getting that done. You know, all that work that was done on the barn after the initial barn was put up was all done with volunteers. You know, they trimmed it all out. They put the barn siding on. They're working on the, on the inside. They're going to level off the ground on the inside. And it kind of sounds like this year it's going to be a lot of displays and a lot of people in there giving demonstrations on different aspects of what it was like back early on.
I think we should have an old-fashioned butter churn in there, and then we can see John just stand there hour after hour turning the crank.
Well, you know, you'd have to show me how to do it. You'd have to show me when that butter turns into butter. So I think you would probably have the brunt of it.
Oh.
But no, I think it's going to be a good asset for the fair, and people are going to enjoy it, and I hope they do. And so yeah, that along with everything else going on, you know, the grounds are in great shape. We finished off another successful Mexican rodeo on Sunday.
That was fun on Sunday. I thought, gee, I thought the Rice County Fair wasn't until next week. What's going on?
Yeah,
it's so cool to see things and activities at that beautiful fairgrounds being used, not just during the fair.
That's right, and they everybody came out and had a good time, and looked like they had a good time, and the weather was beautiful, just like I'm hoping that it's for the Rice County Fair. I mean, what a beautiful Sunday afternoon we had. So you know, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and you know, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. We better introduce our other guests in studio, the civilized ones that are going to keep you and I in line, because, you know, 4-H, that's what it does. It keeps all of us civilized, right? Kelly Chadwick is in studio, 4-H program coordinator for Rice County. That's what 4-H does, correct?
Good morning. Yes, we are all about that. Keeping you in line.
And also we have a 4-H mom, Melissa, in studio.
Yeah, hello, Jerry.
Here, let's get that. Move that mic just a little closer. There.
Hello.
There. So, were you in 4-H, Melissa, when you were growing up too, or did you get into it when your kids got a little bit older?
I was not involved in 4-H at all.
And
when
you
I was
still
a
turned
kid.
out a nice person.
I know, it's a surprise. It's a testament to my family. But when our daughter was getting close to school age, we were looking for something fun, and actually John Dvorak said you should check out 4-H. So we did, and we are loving it.
I know sometimes when you didn't have a history in it, maybe you don't know other people, because it's kind of a county-wide organization. You're kind of in your own clique, the people you know in your school, but they adopt you pretty fast, don't they?
They sure do. It's a kind of a baptism by fire type of thing. You learn a lot the first couple of years, and then you try to give back as much as possible. It's a lot of fun. We've enjoyed it.
And Kelly, you've been kind of in charge of this program for a number of years now.
Yes, a number. I think if I'm doing my math right, I'm at the 13th fair as I've been in this position. So, yeah. I
was on the extension committee when Kelly was hired, so John, I can take a little bit of credit for having Kelly here. Maybe a teeny weeny little bit.
Well, you know, they do listen to the little mild squeaks.
Yeah, and I can't remember if you were married then yet or just getting married, and now you have 2 little ones?
Yep. I was married at that point, but we've got 2 boys, so Mitchell
There's some things you don't ask in the interview.
Right, that was one of those questions, but I can offer the information. But yeah, so we've got one that just finished 4th grade and one just finished 1st grade.
I remember when the older one was a little one and he could barely walk, and he had this little future 4-H member shirt on. You remember that? It was
I do, and actually I still have that t-shirt. It's hanging on my kitchen stool right now because I've been meaning to bring it to some of my little 4-H friends that aren't quite big enough, but the t-shirt would fit them. So I just
that's what's so neat. Back in my day, it was basically 4-H, and you had to be so old, and And then all of us, John, I started hearing about clover buds.
That's right.
Were you a clover bud?
No, I don't think they had clover back when I was young.
But that's really neat, Kelly, that then you can get younger kids involved in...
Yeah, we get those little kindergarten, first and second grades who are considered clover buds, and they come in, they're a part of 4-H for that experience. They're not at the competition level, but they get to explore and see what 4-H has to offer and get ready so when they're in 3rd grade they can be a full force 4-H'er.
I've been out there when the judges are there in the clover buds to get a green participation,
Yep.
but yet they still get the experience of maybe showing livestock or talking to the judge with whatever exhibit. And that certainly will prepare you then when you can become an official member.
That's right. Yeah, we start these life skills as early as we can, so they catch right on, and it gives them that little practice for when they're in 3rd grade.
How old were your kids, Melissa? Were they in clover buds, or were they older and then in regular 4-H before you followed John's advice?
Yeah, I know. It was good. I actually followed John's advice for that.
At least somebody does.
And
gonna be a long week, John.
Gonna be a long week, Jerry.
Oh my! And Ella is actually our only child, and she's going into 8th grade now, and she started when she was in 1st grade.
Oh, so she was a clover bud.
Yes, she loved it.
I think she was a pre-clover bud, if I remember.
Yeah.
And she's a quiet, polite, shy one, sitting back in the corner. She hasn't been hanging around us enough, I guess.
She doesn't take after her mom, that's
No, not at all.
We have to take a break for the markets here in about a minute, Kelly, but in terms of overall numbers, pretty steady, maybe up or down, little ebb and flow each year. How are we doing specifically in Rice County?
Yeah, it's kind of the same as it has been, where some project numbers are up, some are down, but overall we're right about where we've been in the past. So looking forward to seeing all the projects come in on Monday.
I can't imagine who's in charge of getting all of the judges there at all these county fairs. And it's people that maybe they get a fee of some sort. Maybe it almost covers the mileage. Really, it's volunteers that enjoy helping and working with the kids.
It is, yeah. We start with volunteers who help give us recommendations and go off of their past knowledge and experience, and then we as staff continue the process. And yeah, the judges that we have do it because they love doing it. They are certainly not doing this as a source of income by any means, but they've got a passion for talking with these kids and learning from the kids and helping the kids learn too.
And Melissa, sometimes maybe moms get maybe even more nervous than the kids during judging or when they're talking to the judge.
At this point, I'm usually pretty okay with whatever Ella says. There's not a lot of advice taken at this point. That as a
She's
middle
that
schooler,
age, I guess. Yep. She's sitting over there smirking.
Yeah.
We better take a break for the markets, and we'll continue with today's Hey Minnesota program, Fair Talk 2018. Well, it's our final Fair Talk 2018 before the Rice County Fair. Fair Manager John Dvorak is in studio, along with Rice County 4-H Program Coordinator Kelly Chadwick and Rice County Mom Melissa.
Well, actually, Jerry, Rice County Mom Melissa, she's got a new name, man.
Yeah.
It's really stick.
We like nicknames.
Yeah, it's going to be over our PA system at the fair.
Yeah.
Now, actually, I came to Melissa a few months ago, and I was talking to her about daycare day, and she had a lot of input that she wanted to put in, so I decided, you know what, maybe it's a good opportunity here to get Melissa involved in the fair a little bit more than in 4-H. So I got another volunteer, Jerry, and I'm happy to say that Melissa graciously volunteered to help me out with daycare day. And we were getting to a point where, you know, we just need some new, fresh ideas, and Melissa came with a bunch of new, fresh ideas. So she is going to be helping me out with daycare day. That is always on on Thursday morning, and so we're really looking forward to Melissa.
Now, are you
helping me out.
insinuating that maybe Jerry, when he's out at the fair, needs to be part of daycare day? Are you insinuating that I need supervisors when I'm out there?
Well, Senior Citizens Day also.
These are my friends, Melissa. You know, see the people that don't like me.
See, we catch both ends of the spectrum on the same day for you.
How did you get interested in, do you have some experience with daycare, or?
Not necessarily with daycare, but I'm a teacher, and so I love working with kids and helping them also just learn about agriculture, and so it was a perfect mix.
Ooh, good job, John.
Yep, so we got a great, Melissa came up with a great itinerary for a program, and I'll let her talk about it a little because it's kind of her ideas here, and who not better to talk about it than the person that came up with it.
Well, and that's the beauty. She mentioned that she's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're working with younger kids, you really have to be creative to keep their attention,
That's right.
but yet be able to teach them.
Yeah, that's the goal. We'll see. Well, we plan, and then hopefully it turns out the way that we plan. But some of the ideas that we have is we're doing, some of the 4-H youth are actually helping out in the morning during registration to have a few different activities. And then at 11 o'clock, there's a grandstand show for the daycare kids. And each hour we're trying to do a little something different. At noon we have a milk break with Minnesota ADA is also helping out.
By the way, speaking of milk, in the Rice County ADA, new addition to the fair, an all-you-can-drink milk stand.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we're going to be working together with them to
Cool.
get a milk break in the new old barn is what I call it, the new construction of the older barn, and we'll have a little milk break and some stories for the kids, and then at 1 o'clock we'll do some STEM activities for those not in education. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. And then we'll do...
John and I knew that.
Oh yes, I'm sure. And then at 2 o'clock we have face painting, and I'm still working on a couple things to work with the Rice County Dairy Association for having their royalty help out as well.
This is just classic what it's all about, though, is people having different interests and stepping up to volunteer some time to make the fair more fun and educational. I love that idea of let's teach these kids a little bit about agriculture, too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so right, Jerry, and we only get these individuals for 1 week out of the year, and most of them 1 day out of the year, so we just want to cater to them and help provide whatever we can that we can make it a positive experience. And I'm so grateful to Melissa that she's volunteered to help make this happen. And it takes people working. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get the message across is to have volunteers and to help bring our message across.
I love the idea, too, when you mentioned some of those older 4-H members are going to be helping out, too. Nothing is more neat than seeing these older 4-H members helping younger kids.
Well, I was going to say that's one of the things my daughter has learned so much about 4-H is that when the older kids are helping out, it's not like the mom or the dad teaching them, it's these kids, and so they listen so much better when it's the older youth that are teaching the kids.
I was visiting with one older 4-H member. I forget which fair it was, but it was so cool. He said, I asked him about helping the younger kids, and he said, well, you know what? It wasn't that many years ago. I didn't know much about this, and some of those older 4-H members there showed me how to get my pig ready for the fair and showed me what to look for and help me, and he figured it was his turn now to help the younger kids. Kelly, that is exactly what it's all about.
It is. It's such a rewarding experience to watch that happen as when you've been in the position for years, and even as a volunteer and a parent, you watch the youth transition into those various roles, and really the Fair Week I feel is it's a huge teamwork effort. The kids all pool together and they work so well together to help each other learn, to help each other get their animals taken care of, to get their projects where they need to go. There's just so many components, and these youth just they step into the shoes of those who have left the program at some point. So.
And you also, if you hang around the barns on show day, you'll see kids that don't have pig there. Other kids will be helping them, or you see ones in the same show. Somebody forgot this, or somebody doesn't have this. Well, they just all help each other out, even though in a few minutes they're going to be competing against each other for that trip to the state fair, for example.
I know, and that is one of the coolest things. And I think Rice County 4-H, and there's a lot of programs that are very fortunate like that, where of course our kids are competitive and they want to win, but they want to have a good time, and they're there for that social aspect too, and just being with their friends and helping them. So there are just so many positive things that come out of this experience for these kids.
And you know what? Sometimes real life experiences too. And maybe 4-H isn't, quote, politically correct because, you know what, you don't win every year.
Oh,
you
know,
don't. Sometimes things go wrong. You're going to take this animal, you've been working with it all summer. The vet comes out for the pre-fair check and they have a wart, or they have, ringworm. And all at once, they can't go.
Right.
But last time I checked, life sometimes has some disappointments too, and
It sure does, and I think sometimes those educational moments are the best ones that come from that losing situation, or that that bummer that happens. You learn from it, and you move forward, and you learn for next time, and try to make it better.
and say, well, I'm going to try and do better next year, and maybe I'll catch the break next year.
Right.
Kind of like farming. Sometimes things don't go our way either, do they, John?
It is, Jerry, but Kelly's right. These kids, they do a great job of complimenting each other and helping each other out. But when you really look down, it really does start at the top, and it does really start with Kelly and her staff, because
they kind of create the atmosphere.
They create the atmosphere, and they're carrying on what started before them, and they're carrying it on, and they're just making that step a lot higher for the next person when they decide to move on, that where that starting point is going to be. But I think our 4-H program here in Rice County is in great shape. I don't think you can argue that there's a better 4-H program around, and it all starts with Kelly, because I think Kelly and her staff do a great job. They're passionate about their work, and they care about their work, and they want to see it succeed, and then it just passes on down to the members, and you can see how it's passing on down, and you'd have to have a great teacher to teach that, and that's what we have in our 4-H program here in Rice County.
Well, how about this, John? I thought of it all by myself to take the next break. You didn't have to remind me.
You're getting good.
About the time I get the program down, we're done for the year.
That's right.
So we'll continue with today's AM Minnesota program, Fair Talk 2018, right after some of these words from our great sponsors.
I've never heard John be so nice.
He is very nice.
Great. We should have him on the radio more.
John?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Obviously, we don't have any standards here. They let me on.
I'm glad it's recorded. I'm just kidding.
Those words.
Oh, yeah. So great. Oh, this is fun
See
to
your
watch, you
local auto
guys.
owner's agent, Tara Langevin at Faribault Insurance. Tara is the hometown local
I
gal.
don't know what's going through Ella's mind over
I know,
there.
she's
She's kind of
thinking,
giggly.
she's thinking these three crazy people. The three favorite people, right?
Right,
The person in charge of the fair, the person in charge of 4-H, and her mother.
Her mother. Well, who should be number one?
Assured safety and performance. That's the IDEW's power of professionalism.
2 out
As
of 3.
integral members of the community, they work hard to build. IDEW professionals are also committed to the strengthening of neighborhoods in which they work and live. Online at IDEWpros.org.
Welcome back to today's AM Minnesota program. John, straighten up and fly right. The break is over, so.
Okay. I'm ready.
We only have a few minutes left, and oh boy, next week. Well, Gordy, I think on Monday he'll be out hosting AM Minnesota, maybe from the fair.
I don't know if it's Monday or Tuesday. I know he'll
Definitely
be on with
Tuesday, because it's his tradition on Tuesday.
with
He's
the Queens.
visiting with the Queen candidates.
And then are we doing our 3 J's for breakfast?
Yes.
Yes. so
Absolutely.
every morning we'll be talking about what happened the night before and what's going to be happening that day.
Then we
and
can
then,
put on the air at least.
And then Gordy and I are on at noon again during the week of the fair. So I'll be bringing you updates and hopefully telling you what's going on. But we have a great lineup. We've got the grandstand shows. I think probably one of the biggest events that we're going to have again this year is that PRCA
that
rodeo. I'm
Wasn't
looking
it
forward
fun
to
last
that.
week to talk to Marty,
It
one of
was.
the actual owners
was,
of the
yes.
5th generation of Barnes Rodeo?
On Wednesday night, we have our BMX Dirt Jam coming again. They did real good last year with that, and we're looking forward to having them again this year. We got the truck and tractor pull, the enduro races on Thursday, Saturday night truck and tractor pull, and then our ever popular, and I know there's a lot of excitement about that, our demolition derby on Sunday afternoon. So there's some of the, we got free entertainment out there, and there's just, you can go on our website, ricecountyfair.net. We have posters posted around town. We got our premium books out in all the business establishments. You can always call the fair office with information. You can call Jerry here at the station, and he'll hopefully tell you something right.
Or
And
if
have a
I
lot of
don't know the right answer, I probably know somebody that would.
That's right. So, it's going to be a great fair. I think the weather's going to be great. And you know what? If the weather isn't great, we're still going to have a great fair. We're going to move on, and we always do, and we always will. So, we'll be there, and I can assure everybody there'll be something there for everybody.
And by the way, updates and everything going on at the website, thanks to Tara Langevin.
That's right. And so, the grounds, the maintenance guys are out there and they're working hard and getting the barns ready, getting the grounds ready, and
mowing lawn.
we'll be starting off here, come Monday. That magic seed gets planted in the ground, and Tuesday morning, carnival will appear. And
I
we'll
wish
have
my
the Rice
corn would
County
go that fast.
the Rice County Fair will be in full swing. So I'd like to take this time to invite everybody out there and come out and have a great time.
It's a free fair.
You pay for parking. Parking is $5 a car, or if you want to come multiple times, you can get a parking pass for the whole week at $20. We can still use a few volunteers. If people are interested in volunteering, you can contact me at the fair office. Gladly point you in the right direction. And things are shaping up, and there's a lot of volunteers that are behind this fair that are doing a lot of work to make this happen.
And back to the 4-H again, Kelly, a lot of volunteer moms like Melissa that help out, not just during the fair, but all throughout the year. What's so neat about 4-H is these days I've always did this. Some kids go one direction, other kids go the other direction. Mom goes one way and dad goes one way. How many organizations do you know where the whole family goes to the same place at the same time? There aren't very many these days.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of 4-H.
Yeah, no, we're very fortunate. It's not just our 4-H moms. I mean, I give them a lot of credit, but we got a lot of 4-H dads.
Grandmas and grandpas.
Alumni and grandmas and grandpas. I mean, the list goes on. It really is a family organization, and it stays that way. I mean, I feel like some of our volunteers just bleed green throughout life, and even when their kids are out of the program.
I was talking to a 4-H'er who was pretty sad. It was his last fair. And I said, well, don't worry, because you can go from being a 4-H member to a 4-H volunteer.
That's right. We've had a number of them graduate 4-H, and within the year they're applying to become a screen volunteer. So, giving back.
And I also challenge folks that when you're at the fair, if you're walking through the barns of the 4-H building, and obviously you see a 4-H'er there with their project, they love to talk to you about that.
They sure do. Yeah, stop and visit, challenge them, question them, talk to them, learn from them. That's what they are there for. They love to teach our community members about their projects.
And Melissa, that's part of their learning process too, isn't it? Being able to maybe interact with someone that you don't even know, but obviously in a very safe environment when you're at the fair.
Oh yeah, no, our many of the kids in our club they just hang around the barns in their project areas and to converse with other kids, but also just to kind of be able to teach and explain what they did, because they've worked really hard to get to this place, and they love the fair. My kid would give up Christmas to have another day at the fair, is how much she
Only
loves it.
Only if you include fair food while she's at the fair.
Exactly.
John, did you want to mention something else? We still have 2.5 minutes left.
Wow. How do we end up with that much time?
Well, I have this clock where I can read, and it says auto bypass, so exactly 15 seconds before the top of the hour, the new program won't even let me downpot ABC News. It shuts off on microphones.
Well, I just have a few things here in closing. The first thing I want to say is I just want to say hello to my little granddaughter, Hazel.
How old is she?
She's 2.5 right now, so Grandpa's looking forward to you coming to the fair this year, and we'll have a lot of fun.
And Grandpa's got lots of money for fair food.
That's right. So, but just a couple of things we want to touch on. One thing we can't forget about, this is KDHL's 70th birthday this year, and they spent all 70 of those years at the Rice County Fair. So Wednesday evening we're going to have a little program for KDHL, wishing them a happy birthday, and hopefully many, many more years of the great connection that we have, the partnership with KDHL and the Rice County Fair.
And then we're going to have the dedication of the new old barn too, right?
Of the barn. That'll be prior to that, around 6:30. So Wednesday evening, we're going to have some fun activities going on. We're going to start off the fair at 5:30 on Tuesday evening with the Star Spangled Banner and the flag raising. We have the Faribault Community Band that's going to come out and play for that. Cool. So we're looking forward to them being out there again. And then they're going to be performing again after the Queen Coronation. The Queen Coronation starts at 7, and then immediately after the Queen Coronation, the Faribault Community Band will be performing a free concert on the Selner stage. So grab your seats and come on out and listen to that. I think it's going to be a fun evening to start off the Rice County Fair.
And we have, what was it, 4 contestants this year for Rice County Fair Queen, if I remember correctly?
If I remember correctly, that's where we're at.
That's always such a great event when you have family members of the contestants there and lots of past winners because they just enjoy being there at the fair.
And that's right. And you know, it seems like the Rice County Fair is the one place that you can come once a year and see those individuals that you haven't seen for a whole year because you know you're going to see them at the Rice County Fair. Right. So come on out and visit with old friends. That's what the fair is all about, and make that one-time communication that you have when you see everybody once a year.
Because it's a long time till next year. Kelly, thanks for everything you do coming in.
Thank you.
Rice County 4-H mom, Melissa. We'll see you at Daycare Day, which was Thursday, correct?
Thursday, yes.
Thanks, John. Here is news from ABC.